Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back once again to another AGS TV video. Today, I'm doing a Premier League prediction for this season. The season starts in 3 days. It's currently Tuesday, day of recording. Brentford versus Arsenal on Friday will be the first game of the season. So I thought, why not make a video now just to show my own insight on what I think it will happen this season. He will win the league, he will get the Champions League, he will go down. And yeah, maybe 8 months time I'll have a reaction video to this and see how much of a clown I really am. Okay, so here's a website from the BBC that allows me to give my prediction on what will happen this season. I am going to start from 20th all the way to top of the league. I'm going to start with 20th. I think this is going to be a common theme. Norwich, I just can't see them not go down. A lot of people have already put them not only to go down but also 20th as well. They are a bit of a yo-yo club. No disrespect to Norwich, I just can't see them being above 20th. They got some good players. Todd Cantwell, I wanted him at Villa. Obviously, we got Emi Buendia. You can't really afford to sell your best players. If Cantwell were to leave Norwich, which I don't think will happen anyway, but if he was to leave this season, 100% going down. 100%. It's not even a debate. Teemu Pukki, good striker, but as we've seen before, not good enough for the Premier League, or at least not good enough to carry a team. And I do think Norwich will suffer once again and go down. But they'll probably come back up anyway, so it's not going to bother them at all. 19th, I think, will be Brentford. It is their debut season in the Premier League. I just can't see it going that well. I think Tony may have a good season, but kind of like Norwich, they've got a couple decent players, but not really Premier League standard. I think the Premier League now, compared to like 10 years ago, is a lot harder. And these championship teams are struggling more and more. So I do think 2 out of the 3 who have come up from the championship will go down. So that means I think Watford will survive and Burnley are going to go down. Now I may get stick for this because I do know there are Burnley fans who watch this account. And I don't want to I don't want to annoy anyone. I just think Burnley have kind of been, on the edge of relegation for a few years now. And they always seem to just survive despite having a poor season. They always seem to pull it out the bag. I know Sean Dyche is a decent manager, but with not much budget. They barely spend every year. They barely spend, and eventually it will lead to them going down. Whether that's this year, next year, the year after. It happened to Wigan. I remember years ago, Wigan Athletic were always around the bottom 3, and eventually they go down. And it happened to Villa as well, just before we went down. 2016, we had a few years before where we were like 15th and 16th. And you can't keep doing that. You have to improve, otherwise you're going to go down. I think this year they will go down. So I apologise to the Burnley fans out there. Guys, let me know in the comments below what you feel as well. If you disagree with anything or agree, just tell me. 17th, Newcastle. Now again, I know Newcastle fans will watch this channel, so I'm not making any friends today. But I just can't see Newcastle being outside of a relegation battle again. Steve Bruce is their manager. Steve Bruce at Villa, I don't have any respect for the man. A cabbage was thrown at him at Villa. That's all you need to know, really. He failed promotion with us despite having a lot of money. And at Newcastle, I don't think he's done anything productive anyway. He's got Alan St-Maximin, who's an outstanding player. Joe Willock on loan helped save the season. I think before he came in on loan, it was looking like they may go down. That kind of revived the season a little bit. And I know they're putting a £25 million bid as of recording. There's no idea if he's going to go to Newcastle or not. We shall see. If he does go to Newcastle, they may not be involved in the relegation battle. And it could be a continuation of last season where they started to win games. But I just can't see them finishing at the very most above 15th. They will be in a relegation battle. And it may even go down to the final game of the season. We shall see. 16th. This I may get stick for. Not because of fans on the channel, but because I think Southampton are going to get 16th. Danny Ings is such a pivotal player for Southampton. I was very happy that we got him at Villa. I just can't see Southampton actually recovering from losing, a player like Danny Ings' his quality. Southampton struggled a lot of last season despite him scoring the amount of goals. And if they do lose James Ward-Prowse, I don't think they will. With the transfer window only having a couple of weeks left, I don't think he will leave Southampton. But if he does leave, they're in big relegation trouble. They had one of the worst records in the second half of the season. At one point, Southampton were top of the league last year, don't forget. They had a good start and then they fell away. And I can see Southampton having a very difficult season again. There are replacements in for Danny Ings. I know Armstrong from Blackburn. That could be a very good signing. And Southampton could finish like 10th or 9th and I look like a clown. But I just can't see Southampton having a good season. 15th, I'm going to go with Wolves. I think Nuno leaving Wolves will really take a toll on them. He was a good manager. He had one bad season. And with players like Patricio leaving, I just can't see Wolves having like a fairly good season. I think the days of making the top 8 may be a bit behind them now. Unless they get a really good manager in. I just can't see it. Nuno, no matter what manager they get in, unless it's a big name, it will be a downgrade on Nuno. I think he was a good manager for Wolves. And I think Tottenham will have a good season as well, which you will see later on in this video. I just can't see Wolves being higher than 15th. I don't think they'll be in a relegation battle, but I think for most of the season, it's just going to be a bit vanilla for them. They're not going to be challenging for anything, but they're also not going to go down. 14th, I'm going to say Crystal Palace. Patrick Vieira's first year in charge. I can't see it being a fantastic year. But again, they won't be in relegation problems. They do have very good players. I think Benteke will have a good scoring season. I know he didn't start great last year, but he started to score goals towards the end of the season. He also scored against Villa as well. So I think players like that and Zaha will perform. And Crystal Palace kind of be in the Wolves boat as not really much to play for, but too good to go down. I think Vieira may have a good career, may have a good managerial career. And I think it's not a bad team to start with, Palace, because they could actually break in that top 8. Or they could go in towards this bottom 3. It's up for debate anyway, but I think they'll finish 14th. In 13th, I think it will be Brighton. I know expected goals was like a big thing last year, and if you look on their Twitter account, the expected goals, like the famous team from it were Brighton, because if they actually took their chances, they would have finished like 5th. Instead, they have Neil Maupay, who can't hit a barn door with a banjo, and they've just lost so many games where they've deserved to actually win from. They've created too many opportunities. I remember a big game that I think a few people might remember as well, where they lost to Man United after the full-time whistle went with a penalty decision. In that game, they battered United and still lost. And that was just a common theme of Brighton throughout the whole season. I think they will improve. I can't see them improving too much, but 13th, I'm sure the Brighton fans will take. It is progression. It is moving away from the bottom 3. And I think they're going to have a very steady season in 13th. 12th place, it starts to get a bit more interesting. I think it'll be Watford. Now, a lot of people are going to be like, why have you put Watford so high? I just think the Cycling GK will have a very good season at Watford. There's always that one package team that does well. I know it hasn't aged well, but a couple of years ago it was Sheffield United who got promoted. I can see Watford having a really good season. I can't see. I mean, I've seen some people say all 3 newly promoted sides will go down. I can't see that happening. I think Watford will have enough to not only perform well this season, but also break in towards the middle of the pack. We shall see. But that's a team I've gone for to have a fairly decent season. It could fully bite me in the arse, and I'm fully aware of that. But I watched a lot of the Cycling GK, and I know Watford, they did well. Obviously, they got promoted, and I just can't see them going down, and I can't see them being even involved in the relegation battle, but we'll see. 11th place, I think will be Leeds United. Leeds do have a very good side. Rafinha, I rate very, very highly. I can see Leeds performing quite well. But again, there's so many teams that are really good in the top 10. It's kind of difficult to break into. I think it'll kind of be like a standard season for Leeds. They'll probably win more away than they will at home. They may cause some upsets. They may beat teams like Man United, but I can't see them, entering towards the European positions. They may come close. It may be within like 5 or 6 points of 7th, but I can't see them making the top half of the table. 10th place is where it starts to get a bit interesting. I'm going to put Everton there. Losing Carlo Ancelotti is a big, big thing for Everton. I think that will affect the whole team. I know he kind of snaked Everton You got players like James Rodriguez, who only came to Everton because of Carlo Ancelotti. I do think they have a decent side, kind of like Leeds. But losing a manager like that is so huge. They did get battered 4-0 by Man United. I know it's a pre-season friendly, but you know, a week before the season starts, it kind of gives you some insight into how good Everton are. I think they were 3-0 down in half an hour, despite having loads of fans there. I just think it will be another, you know, run-of-the-mill mid-table season for Everton. Again, far too good to go down, but I just don't think they have enough to make the top 7. I know Richarlison didn't have the best of seasons last year. Calvert-Lewin did. I think maybe if Richarlison had some of the numbers Calvert-Lewin showed, maybe they would have made Europe last year. And I just think that was a difference. This year, time will tell. I just think 10th place. There's too much competition now for the top 7. I just can't see them beating some of the teams competing for it. 9th place, I'm going to go with... This is where it gets really hard, you know. This really does get difficult. I'm going to go with West Ham. West Ham had a very good season. Thomas Souček, what a player he was. I'd love him at Aston Villa. Scored a lot of goals. In fact, he scored more goals than players like Jack Grealish. He was just phenomenal. Absolute tank in midfield. Loves a header. What a player he is. I think players like Said Benrahma may have a good season as well for West Ham. I do think they will lose their European spot, but they're still a very good side and they're still going in the right direction with David Moyes. But I think 9th place is where they're going to finish. Now 8th, I'm sorry Arsenal, but I'm going to put you there. In fact, I wouldn't even be upset if I swapped these two around. Arsenal, they're not going to go anywhere with Mikel Arteta. And I think the more Arsenal fans will realise that, or the quicker they realise it, the better. They're going nowhere fast. They've got players like Aubameyang on too much money. And they don't impress me. They do not impress me. Villa have beaten them 3 times in a row without conceding. Their pre-season has been awful. They've lost to Hibernian. They lost to Tottenham. They lost to Chelsea. Like, if you're going to play teams like that in pre-season, you got to get a result. And they haven't. And it's that simple. I know it's pre-season. I know you're not supposed to look too much into it. But you can't lose the amount of games they've had. I just think they're really up against it this season. And if I'm an Arsenal fan, I'd be worrying. I'd be worrying big time. Again, I just can't see them making the top 7. To not have a European competition, that may help them try and break into those top 7 positions. But long gone are the days of Arsene Wenger in top 4. They used to complain about top 4, if you guys remember. I used to watch AFTV years ago when they were moaning about getting 4th. They would kill for 4th now. But yeah, it's what happens when you have a decline, really. And you kind of take for granted what you have. 7th, you're going to say I'm biased. I know. I think it will be Villa. I've seen a lot of people put Villa about 10th and 11th, and it's fair enough. I just can see us breaking into the top 7. I think any of these 3 could be in any of these 3 positions, to be honest. So I'm not going to sit here and say, Villa in 9th is stupid, because it could happen. I just think Villa's squad is brilliant. Ings and Watkins, probably one of the best front 2 in the Premier League. A lot of teams play a 4-2-3-1. Villa have played a 4-2-3-1 for a few years now. But it looks like we're going to kind of potentially go to this 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2, I've also heard as well, to get Watkins and Ings up front together. They are bagsmen. Watkins scored, I think, 14 Premier League goals last year. Ings got 14 as well, with a 20 or 21 the year before that. Ings is an absolute formidable goal scorer. I know he's 29. He's on the older side, but Harry Kane's 28. And there's talks of him leaving for 160 million. So I think it's a good signing for Villa. And it will see us make that very BTEC European competition in 7th place. 6th, I'm sure a few of you may be surprised I've put Tottenham there. I've seen a lot of people who say Arsenal will have a bad season. They also say Tottenham will too. I can see Tottenham do well with Nuno. I think Nuno is what Tottenham needs. Someone who can sort out their defence. I think maybe a player like Son could take centre stage if Kane were to leave. But it does look like now Kane might not leave Tottenham, so it may just be their front three of Son, Harry Kane and Lucas Moura. I just think Spurs will have a good season. They beat Arsenal. They look quite good in that as well. Heung-min Son scored a good goal. I can just see them getting back to, their usual top six. They finished 7th last year. They will be in that new European competition. We'll see how well they do in that. It might be a trophy. In fact, I would say they're the favourites to win that trophy, and if they don't, there will be questions. But I can see Tottenham having a very good season and finishing in 6th place. 5th, I feel for Leicester because they should have made top 4 last year and they should have made it the year before. But it is what it is. You can't crumble. You can't end the season. You can't have 80% of the season in the top 4 and then crumble towards the end. And it's what they did. And I think it's going to happen again. I can see Leicester being around the top 4 and they're going to crumble towards the end of the season. They have good players. They brought in Patson Daka, who I think could be a good signing. Jamie Vardy is getting on a bit. That is my worry for Leicester City. But Iheanacho, he did get the winning goal from a penalty against Manchester City. They did look decent in that as well. But again, it was a changed City side. It didn't have players like Kevin De Bruyne in it. Had Stefan in goal. So you can only take it with a pinch of salt. But I do think Leicester have a good side and they will finish 5th again. Top 4. Now this is probably what most of you are going to watch this for. This is interesting. Everyone's got the same 4 teams, which is Man City, Man United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. It's just the order that people, they will change. I've gone out on a whim here. I'm going to put in 4th place. Know this will look really bad, right? I already know this is going to look bad. 4th place, I'm going with Man United. Alright, don't boo me, but I know I've put Man United low. Right, I know that. Varane and Sancho are good signings, don't get me wrong. I do think they need more than that, though. They've kind of just dipped their toes into the transfer market and then gone. I just can't see that being enough to compete. Liverpool just had one off season with players like Van Dijk being injured. I think they'll be back to their best and they'll be back competing for the title. And they are better than Man United. I'm sorry, but they are. They've got better players, man for man. Salah, I think, is a far better player than anyone for Man United. The only one that comes close is Bruno. But I think Salah is formidable, scores 20 goals. Even though he has bad seasons, still scores 20 goals. I wouldn't say Salah had a great year last year and still scored a stupid amount of goals. So if that's on a bad year, what will he do on a good year? I think Man United will finish 4th. I think they'll be towards the end, quite clear of Leicester. I think Leicester will compete for the top 4, but there will be a gap there towards, the final day of the season, and Man United will finish in 4th place. 3rd, I think it will be a 3-way race for the title. At 3rd place, we will see Liverpool. I think it will be close, and it will be by a few points, but I just think when you still have Roberto Firmino up front, I don't rate him. I do not rate Firmino. I don't see what it brings. Mane needs to have a good season again. They're saying that Jota may play up front or on the left wing as well. They just need players like that to perform. Say Jota doesn't have a good season and then Firmino doesn't perform or Mane, they could finish even lower than Man United. I just think if they're going to challenge and they're going to properly challenge for this title, they need players like that scoring. And I just can't see them having just enough to win the league. 2nd place. Now this is it. Who am I going to go for? Chelsea, Manchester City. Who will win the league? The winner of the Premier League this season will be Chelsea. I think Romelu Lukaku, as much as I think maybe they've overpaid, you could look at it as if they're paying that to win the league, it'll be enough. And it will be enough to win the league. Tuchel is a better manager than Pep Guardiola, right? There's no if, buts and maybes. It is true. He's beaten Pep Guardiola 3 times with less of a budget. They don't have a De Bruyne. They have a Werner, right? Those are the comparisons here. Tuchel came into that Chelsea side, right? And they were a bit of a mess. Mid-table, competing with Aston Villa. Things weren't great for Chelsea. He steadied the ship, stopped them conceding goals. You know, I think even Mendy got like second most clean sheets. Like, he really did steady the ship, and in 6 months won a Champions League for Chelsea. Top class manager, and we will have a full season of Tuchel football, and we will see Chelsea win the league. I can't see it being any other way. City fans will be upset. I know Grealish was a good signing. I'm not going to sit here and say he isn't. I don't think he's what Man City need, but you know, a play like that, I think Grealish can get in anyone's first 11, to be quite honest. I just think Manchester City needed to get Kane over the line before Grealish, and now Kane might not even sign, and Messi's gone to PSG, so I just can't see City winning the league. I think that will be a big mistake. You know, you're looking 3-4 years down the line, I think City fans will look back and think maybe should have gone for Kane instead. I don't think they'll win the league. I really do not think they'll win the league. It will be Chelsea. Thank you guys for watching. I know it's been a bit of a long video, but I hope you have all enjoyed. Maybe I put Villa too high because I'm a Villa fan. Maybe I've got Chelsea wrong. Maybe I've got the bottom 3 wrong. I think Watford is a very controversial opinion, but we shall see. Hopefully AJ in a year's time will not have his head in his hands a little bit too much. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to check me out. I'm going to try and do some live streams. I'm going to try and do some match reactions, and I'm also going to go down to Villa Park a few times this season just to give a little vlog. I haven't done a vlog at all, so I wanted to try that just a little bit, see how it goes. Thank you guys for watching. See you again very soon. Peace out.